Look, when they said Earth joining the Galactic Federation would bring exciting opportunities, nobody mentioned I'd be spending my 20s explaining to a 7-foot insectoid why we don't serve motor oil as a beverage option. But here I am, Maya Rodriguez, proud barista at Cosmic Grounds, the first and allegedly finest interspecies cafe on Earth. And let me tell you, the Yelp reviews write themselves. It's Tuesday morning, which means the usual parade of cosmic weirdos shuffling through my door. There's Gleep, the blob creature who orders 16 espresso shots mixed with what I can only describe as glitter, and insists on paying with coins that smell like rotten eggs. Then we have the Crystalline Collective, a group mind that argues with itself for 20 minutes about whether to order decaf, because apparently even hive minds can't agree on caffeine preferences. Welcome to Cosmic Grounds, where every species finds their perfect brew, I recite with all the enthusiasm of a tax audit. What can I get started for you today? The customer in front of me is a Vorthak, one of those warrior species that looks like someone crossed a rhinoceros with a bad attitude. He's tapping his 3-inch claws on my counter, which is definitely not doing wonders for the woodwork. I require the blood of my enemies. Served hot, he growls. Right. So that's a large dark roast with our house hot sauce. Anything else? You mock the sacred traditions of my people. Sir, I'm a college student making minimum wage plus tips. I'm not mocking anything. I'm just trying to survive another shift without having an existential crisis about my life choices. He grumbles something about humans having no respect, drops a handful of credits on the counter, and stomps away. I swear, aliens have zero sense of humor. Well, most of them anyway. That's when I notice him, sitting in the corner booth, hunched over like he's trying to disappear into the upholstery. He's definitely not human, but he's not like the usual crowd either. Skinny, kind of grayish-green, with these huge eyes that make him look like someone just told him his favorite TV show got cancelled. He's been nursing the same cup of our cheapest coffee for 2 hours, and honestly, it's starting to depress me. I grab the pot and walk over. Hey, you want a refill on that? He looks up, startled, like he can't believe someone's actually talking to him. Oh, I suppose, if it's not too much trouble. His voice is soft, almost apologetic. Great. I've found the galaxy's saddest alien. No trouble at all. I'm Maya, by the way. I haven't seen you around before. Chris, he says quietly. I just moved to the area. Well, welcome to the neighborhood, Chris. Fair warning though, the coffee here is terrible and the customers are worse. For the first time, he almost smiles. Thank you for the honesty. Hey, it's free with every purchase. So that's how it started. Chris became a regular, showing up every morning at exactly 9:15, ordering the same thing: small coffee, black, no sugar. The saddest order in the history of caffeinated beverages. And every day, I'd find myself gravitating toward his table during my breaks, partly because he was the only customer who didn't complain about our Wi-Fi, and partly because, well, he looked like he needed a friend. You know, I tell him on day 3, sliding into the booth across from him, I've never met anyone who could make drinking coffee look like a form of self-punishment. He blinks those massive eyes at me. I'm not very good at enjoying things. That's the most depressing sentence I've heard all week, and yesterday I had to listen to Mrs. Henderson explain why her cat needs its own Instagram account. You have a cat influencer as a customer. Human problems, don't ask. But seriously, what's your deal? Are you like, going through a breakup or something? Crix shifts uncomfortably. It's complicated. I have a lot of responsibilities, and sometimes I feel like everyone expects me to be someone I'm not. Oh man, I totally get that. People see me behind this counter, and assume I've got my life figured out. But honestly, I'm just winging it. Yesterday I put salt in someone's latte instead of sugar, and pretended it was a new artisanal flavor profile. Did they believe you? Completely. Aliens are surprisingly gullible when you use fancy words. For the first time since I've known him, Crix actually laughs. It's a weird sound, kind of like a deflating balloon mixed with a hiccup, but it's genuine. You're very wise for someone so young, he says. I'm 22, not 12. And trust me, wisdom is just accumulated mistakes with better marketing. As the days pass, our conversations get deeper. Crix tells me about his family, how they don't understand him, how he's always felt like an outsider. I tell him about my student loans, my impossible professors, and my ongoing battle with the espresso machine, that I'm pretty sure is sentient and actively plotting against me. The thing about being different, I tell him one morning while wiping down tables, is that it's only a problem if you let other people make it one. That's easy to say when you're not responsible for the well-being of millions of people. I pause mid-wipe. Millions. What do you do? Run a planet or something? He gets that deer in headlights look again. I mean metaphorically. My job affects a lot of people. Supply chain management. Logistics. Yeah, that'll crush your soul. No wonder you look so miserable. Meanwhile, the news feeds are full of stories about increased tensions in the outer systems. Some big-shot alien emperor is apparently throwing his weight around, making threats, being generally unpleasant. I mention it to Crix one day, while he's staring into his coffee like it holds the secrets of the universe. Can you believe this guy? I say, gesturing at the news screen. Emperor Crixnos the Terrible. What kind of name is that anyway? Sounds like someone sneezed while trying to say crispy. Crix nearly chokes on his coffee. You shouldn't make light of galactic politics, Maya. These situations are more complex than they appear. Complex, sure, but at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of powerful people having temper tantrums, because they didn't get their way. I deal with that every day. Yesterday, Ambassador Klieg threatened to have me executed, because I gave him oat milk instead of regular milk. And what did you do? I told him to take it up with corporate, and handed him a comment card. Bullies are all the same, Crix. They just want someone to be afraid of them. He stares at me with this weird expression, like I've just solved cold fusion or something. You're not afraid of anything, are you? Are you kidding? I'm terrified of everything. Spiders, student debt, the possibility that I'll still be working here when I'm 40. But being scared doesn't mean you have to let people walk all over you. You truly are remarkable, Maya. I'm really not. I'm just too tired to be intimidated properly. 3 weeks into our weird little friendship, the news gets seriously ugly. Reports are flooding in about entire human colonies going dark, alien fleets massing at the edge of Federation space, and something called the final ultimatum being delivered to Earth's government. The cafe's usual alien customers are getting jumpy, whispering in corners and shooting nervous glances at the human staff. I'm trying not to think about it while serving Mrs. Vextel her usual order of something that looks like motor oil mixed with glitter, when she leans over the counter with her 6 eyes wide. Little human, she hisses. You should be very careful. The Emperor grows impatient with your species. Yeah, well, the Emperor can get in line behind my landlord and the IRS. I mutter, handing her the drink. At least they send bills instead of death threats. She scuttles away muttering something about human arrogance, which honestly, fair point. But what's the alternative? Spend my day cowering under the counter. I've got student loans to pay off, and they don't care about galactic politics. Crix has been quieter than usual lately, staring at his coffee with the intensity of someone trying to read tea leaves. When I sit down across from him during my break, he looks like he hasn't slept in days. You okay? You look like someone told you they're canceling your favorite show. Maya, what would you do if you had to make a decision that could hurt innocent people but not making it could hurt even more innocent people? I blink. That's awfully philosophical for a Tuesday morning. Are we talking about your supply chain job again? Something like that. Well, here's the thing about impossible choices. They're only impossible if you're trying to make everyone happy. Sometimes you just have to pick the option that lets you sleep at night and deal with the consequences. Before he can respond, the cafe door slams open with enough force to rattle the windows. 3 aliens stride in, and not the usual customer type. These guys are clearly military, all sharp angles and aggressive postures. The leader, some kind of reptilian species with too many teeth, scans the room before his eyes lock on me. Human, he barks, pointing a clawed finger in my direction. We require information about your planet's defensive capabilities. The cafe goes dead silent. Even the background music seems to hold its breath. I glance around at my regular customers, who are suddenly very interested in their drinks, then back at Captain Scaly. Sir, this is a coffee shop. The most dangerous thing we have here is the espresso machine, and that's only dangerous to my sanity. Do not mock us, primitive creature. Your species has been marked for judgment. Compliance will ensure a swift end. And that's when something in my brain just snaps. Maybe it's the stress of finals week. Maybe it's the fact that I've been dealing with entitled customers all morning. Or maybe it's just that calling someone a primitive creature before noon should be illegal. Okay, first of all, rude. Second, if you're looking for Earth's military secrets, you might want to try the Pentagon instead of a place that can't even keep its Wi-Fi working. And third, what kind of galactic conquest starts with intimidating baristas? Did you guys skip military strategy 101? The alien's eyes narrow to slits. Your insolence will be remembered when your world burns. Great, put it on my Yelp review. 1 star, customer service was disappointing, would not recommend for planetary destruction. His 2 companions exchange glances, like they can't quite believe what they're hearing. To be honest, neither can I. But I'm committed now. You humans are all the same, the leader snarls. Arrogant. Defiant. No respect for your betters. Betters. Buddy, you just walked into my workplace, made zero effort to place an order, and started making threats. That's not superiority, that's just bad manners. They storm out, promising that I'll regret my words when the fleets arrive. Through the window, I watch them climb into some kind of hover transport and speed away. The cafe stays quiet for another moment, before the chatter gradually resumes. I notice Kritz is still sitting in his corner booth, but something's different about his posture. He's sitting straighter, and there's an expression on his face I've never seen before. Maya, he calls softly. I walk over, still shaking a little from the adrenaline. Yeah, that was either very brave or very foolish. Probably both. But hey, at least I won't have to wonder what I'd do in a crisis situation anymore. He stares at me for a long moment. You truly have no idea what you've just done, do you? Made some bad career choices. 2 days later, I'm opening the cafe when the sky literally falls. Well, not literally, but close enough. Massive alien warships are hovering over every major city on Earth, their shadows turning noon into twilight. The emergency broadcast system is going nuts, alternating between remain calm and seek immediate shelter, which is about as helpful as a chocolate teapot. My phone's buzzing with panicked texts from friends and family, but honestly, what am I supposed to do? Hide under my bed until the aliens get bored and go home? I've got a business to run, even if it might be the last day of human civilization. The morning rush is non-existent, obviously. Most of my alien customers have mysteriously vanished, and the few humans brave enough to venture outside are too busy staring at the sky to think about caffeine. But at 9:15 sharp, Crix walks through the door like it's any other Tuesday. Really? I call out from behind the counter. Alien invasion day and you still need your coffee fix. He doesn't smile at my joke. In fact, he looks more serious than I've ever seen him. He walks straight to the counter instead of his usual corner booth. Maya, we need to talk. Sure, but can you talk louder? It's hard to hear over the sound of impending doom. I gesture at the ceiling, where we can hear the low hum of the warships. Also small coffee, black, no sugar, right? Maya, stop. Something in his voice makes me actually look at him. Really look. He's standing differently, not hunched over like he's trying to disappear. His shoulders are back, his head is up, and those big sad eyes have a hardness to them I've never noticed before. What's wrong? You look like someone just told you they're putting pineapple on pizza. The ships above us, he says quietly, they're here because of you. I blink, because of me. What did I do? Give someone decaf instead of regular? Look, I know customer service is important, but this seems like an overreaction. 3 days ago, you insulted a Zephyrian commander in front of his subordinates. You questioned his authority, mocked his mission, and showed absolutely no fear of his threats. The guy with too many teeth. Yeah, he was rude. I don't care if someone's having a bad day, there's no excuse for poor manners. Crix closes his eyes like he's in physical pain. Maya, that commander reported directly to me. He said a human female had demonstrated the kind of defiance and disrespect that proves your species is irredeemably hostile to galactic order. Wait, what do you mean, reported to you? I thought you worked in supply chain management. He takes a deep breath. My name isn't just Crix. It's Emperor Crixnos, the terrible, supreme ruler of the Galactic Dominion, commander of 1,000 fleets, and bringer of order to chaotic worlds. I stare at him. Then I stare some more. Then I start laughing. Oh come on, that's ridiculous. You're telling me that you, the guy who apologizes to chairs when he bumps into them, are the big scary emperor everyone's been freaking out about? I am. The same emperor I said had a stupid name that sounded like someone sneezing while trying to say crispy. He winces. Yes, and you've been sitting in my cafe for 3 weeks, drinking terrible coffee and listening to me complain about my student loans. Also yes, I stop laughing. The sheer absurdity of it is too much even for my overworked brain to process. You're serious. You're actually serious right now. Completely. So when I told you that bullies just want people to be afraid of them, you were talking about me. Yes, I sink into the nearest chair, which happens to be at his usual corner booth. Oh my God, oh my actual God. I've been giving life advice to a galactic dictator. I prefer supreme ruler, but yes. And the responsibility for millions of people you mentioned. Try billions. I rule over 3/4 of the known galaxy. My brain is doing that thing where it tries to restart like a frozen computer. Why didn't you tell me? He sits down across from me, and for a moment he's just regular sad Crix again. Because for the first time in my adult life, someone was talking to me like I was a person instead of a title. Do you have any idea how refreshing it is to have a conversation that doesn't end with someone begging for their planet's life? But you were planning to destroy Earth. I was. The Galactic Council has been pushing for humanity's removal from the Federation for months. Your species is considered too unpredictable, too individualistic, too difficult to control. The incident with my commander was supposed to be the final proof we needed. Supposed to be. He looks out the window at the warships casting their shadows over the city. Maya, I've conquered 47 star systems. I've ended 3 interplanetary wars and brought peace to regions that had been fighting for centuries. I am, by any objective measure, very good at my job. Okay, but in all that time, no one has ever called me on my behavior the way you did that first day. No one has ever told me I look like I'm punishing myself. No one has ever suggested that maybe, just maybe, I don't have to carry the weight of the galaxy on my shoulders. I'm starting to get a very bad feeling about where this is going. Crix, please tell me you didn't call off an invasion because your barista was nice to you. Oh no, Maya, it's much worse than that. He stands up and suddenly he looks every inch the Galactic Emperor he claims to be. I called off the invasion because my barista was nice to me, and then I realized that if one human could change my mind about everything I thought I knew about your species, maybe I was wrong about all of it. I sit there for a solid 30 seconds, just staring at him. Outside, the warships continue their ominous hovering, probably wondering why their supreme commander hasn't given the order to start the whole planetary annihilation thing. So let me get this straight. I finally say, my voice climbing toward that dangerous pitch that means someone's about to get a lecture. You've been lying to me for 3 weeks. Maya, I can explain. 3 weeks, Crits. 3 weeks of me feeling sorry for you, bringing you free refills, listening to you whine about your responsibilities, and the whole time you're literally the most powerful being in the galaxy. He has the decency to look ashamed. I never meant for it to go on so long. Oh, you never meant for it to go on so long. That's your defense? You know what? Forget the fact that you lied to me. Forget the fact that you've been using our friendship as some kind of weird therapy session. What I really want to know is this. How exactly does the supreme ruler of the galaxy end up so pathetically lonely that he has to pretend to be a nobody just to have a normal conversation? That hits him like a slap. He actually flinches. It's not that simple. Oh, but it is that simple. You want to know why humans are so hard to control? It's because we're the only species in this galaxy stupid enough to treat everyone the same way, regardless of how many titles they've got stuck to their name. You could have walked in here on day 1, announced you were the Emperor, and I still would have served you coffee and complained about my rent. You would have been terrified of me. Terrified. Of you? I laugh, but it's not a nice laugh. Crits, I've seen you apologize to a door because you closed it too hard. The only thing terrifying about you is your taste in coffee. He's quiet for a moment, and when he speaks again, his voice is small. Everyone is afraid of Emperor Crits, Nas the Terrible. Because they don't know you're just Crits, who tips 20% and asks how my day is going. They see the title, not the person. But here's the thing you clearly don't understand. Being afraid of someone and respecting them are two completely different things. I don't follow. I lean forward, getting into full lecture mode. Those commanders of yours, the ones who report back to you about how humans are too defiant and individualistic. They're not afraid of you because you're a great leader. They're afraid because you have the power to destroy their worlds. That's not leadership. That's just really good intimidation. I've brought peace to dozens of systems. Through fear. And let me tell you something about peace through fear. It only lasts as long as people are more scared of you than they are angry about their situation. Eventually, the fear stops working. He sits back down, looking genuinely confused. Then how do humans maintain order without fear? We don't maintain order. That's your first mistake. You can't control billions of individual people, each with their own thoughts and feelings and terrible life choices. The best you can do is create a system where people want to cooperate because it benefits them. That sounds impossibly chaotic. It is. It's messy and complicated, and sometimes people make decisions that are absolutely insane. But you know what else it is? It's honest. When humans do something good or bad, we own it. We don't hide behind titles or fleets of warships or the excuse that we're just maintaining galactic order. I can see him processing this, his alien brain trying to wrap around a concept that's apparently revolutionary in galactic politics. Maya, what you're describing, it would require trusting billions of beings to make the right choice. Most of the time they won't. People are selfish and short-sighted and generally terrible at long-term planning. But here's the secret that apparently nobody taught you in Emperor School. Most people, most of the time, are trying to do what they think is right. They just need someone to believe they're capable of it. And if they're not, if they make the wrong choice, then they deal with the consequences. And hopefully they learn something. That's how you grow as a person, or a species, or whatever. You mess up, you face the results, and ideally you don't make the same mistake twice. He's staring at me like I've just explained quantum physics using interpretive dance. That's the most terrifying and beautiful thing I've ever heard, he says quietly. It's also the most human thing you'll ever hear. We're not afraid of making mistakes because we've made so many of them that we've gotten really good at cleaning up our messes. What if the mistake is too big to clean up? I think about this for a moment, looking up at the ceiling where I can still hear the hum of his warships. Then you make sure the next choice is better. Crits, you've got thousands of ships up there, ready to end human civilization, because one of your commanders got his feelings hurt by a sarcastic barista. That's a pretty big mistake. It is, but you realized it was a mistake. That's the important part. And now you get to choose what comes next. The Galactic Council will never accept this. They'll say I've gone soft, that humanity has corrupted my judgment. Have we? He considers this seriously. Yes, completely. I came here planning to oversee the systematic destruction of your planet. And instead, I've spent 3 weeks learning that loneliness is worse than failure, and that sometimes the best advice comes from someone who doesn't know they're giving it. Sounds about right. So what are you going to do about it? I don't know. In my entire reign, I've never defied the Council's direct orders. Well, there's a first time for everything. Besides, you're the Emperor. Isn't the whole point of being in charge that you get to make the big decisions? Theoretically, yes. Then make one, right now. Are you going to be Emperor Kritsnas the Terrible, who destroys planets because someone was rude to his employee? Or are you going to be Krits, who learned that maybe there's a better way to do things? He stands up again. But this time he looks different. Not like the sad hunched figure who's been haunting my corner booth, and not like the intimidating galactic ruler either. He looks like someone who's finally figured out who he wants to be. Maya? Yeah, thank you. For treating me like a person instead of a title. Thank you for not vaporizing my planet. I haven't made that decision yet. I raise an eyebrow. Crits. Right. Thank you for helping me realize I don't want to vaporize your planet. Much better. Crix walks to the window and stares up at his fleet for a long moment. I can practically see the gears turning in his alien brain as he weighs the decision that will determine whether I spend tomorrow serving coffee or being a footnote in the history of extinct species. You know, he says finally, I think I'm about to make the Galactic Council very, very angry. Good. From what I've heard, they sound like they could use some shaking up. He pulls out what looks like a communicator device, all glowing buttons and alien script. Fleet Command. This is Emperor Krixnos. I can hear the response even from across the room, a chorus of voices speaking in rapid, excited alien languages. Yes, I know you're waiting for orders. Here they are. Stand down. All ships return to base. The invasion is cancelled. The communicator explodes with what I can only assume are very confused and very concerned alien voices. Because I said so, that's why. And before anyone asks, no, I have not been compromised, mind-controlled or replaced by a shape-shifting human. I have simply realized that our intelligence about this species was fundamentally flawed. More alien chatter, getting increasingly frantic. What do you mean? What should we tell the Council? Tell them the truth. Tell them that Emperor Krixnos the Terrible has determined that humanity poses no threat to galactic stability, and that any commander who disagrees is welcome to discuss the matter with me personally. The voices on the other end go very quiet very quickly. Good. Fleet Command out. He turns back to me, looking oddly relieved. Well, that's done. I just committed the single most expensive act of disobedience in galactic history. How expensive are we talking? The fuel costs alone for moving that many ships. Let's just say some accountant on the Imperial homeworld is going to have a very bad day. I watch through the window as the massive warships begin to lift away from Earth, their shadows retreating as they climb back into space. It's like watching storm clouds clear after a hurricane that never quite made landfall. So what happens now? I ask. Now I go back to being the most powerful being in the galaxy. Except with a completely different philosophy about how to use that power. I suspect it's going to be very complicated. And the Galactic Council, they'll adapt. They always do. The alternative is finding a new emperor, and frankly, I don't think they're prepared for that kind of paperwork. I laugh despite everything. You're probably right. Bureaucracy is the same everywhere, apparently. Maya, I need you to understand something. What happened here today, this conversation, it's going to change everything. The way the Dominion interacts with other species, the way we approach conflict resolution, the way I think about leadership itself. That's a lot of pressure to put on one coffee shop conversation. The best revolutions start in the most unlikely places. He heads toward the door, then stops and turns back. Will you be here tomorrow? Same time. I blink. Are you asking if we can still be friends after you almost destroyed my entire species? I'm asking if you'll still be my friend after I didn't destroy your entire species. Crix, you just committed interstellar treason to save 8 billion people you've never met, because you didn't want to disappoint your barista. I think that officially makes you the weirdest friend I've ever had. Is that a yes? That's a yes. But you're still paying for your coffee. Wouldn't dream of doing otherwise. And that's how I, Maya Rodriguez, college student and part-time barista, accidentally prevented the destruction of Earth, and fundamentally altered the political structure of the galaxy by being nice to a lonely alien who turned out to be the most powerful being in known space. The next morning, Crix shows up at exactly 9:15, orders his usual small coffee, black, no sugar, and sits in his corner booth like nothing happened. The only difference is that now when he tips, he uses currency that's apparently worth more than my entire student loan debt. So I say, sliding into the seat across from him, how's the galactic revolution going? Terribly. Half my advisors think I've lost my mind, the other half are trying to figure out how to profit from my new policies, and the Galactic Council has sent me 14 formal complaints about my unprecedented deviation from established protocols. Sounds about right. Change is hard. I've also received 47 requests for asylum from species who want to join the Dominion under the new human-influenced governance model, whatever that means. It means you're doing something right. Or something catastrophically wrong. Same thing usually. He takes a sip of his terrible coffee and grimaces like he does every morning. Maya, can I ask you something? Shoot. Do you think I made the right choice? I look around the cafe, at the handful of human and alien customers going about their morning routines, at the news feeds showing celebrations in the streets, at the perfectly ordinary Tuesday that could have been the last day of human civilization. Ask me in 100 years, I tell him. But so far so good. Fair enough. Besides, if it turns out you were wrong, I'll let you know. That's what friends are for. He actually smiles at that, the first genuine, completely unguarded smile I've ever seen from him. I'm very glad I met you, Maya Rodriguez. Yeah. Well, you're not getting a discount on your coffee just because you're my friend. I wouldn't expect one. And that's the thing about humans. I think as I watch the most powerful being in the galaxy struggle with our consistently terrible coffee. We'll befriend anyone, argue with everyone, and somehow manage to save the world just by being ourselves. It's not a bad way to live, all things considered, even if the coffee really is awful.